Hi, I'm Kim White, and welcome to my 600 square foot apartment right here in Brooklyn. You might remember my apartment, which is 2 floors up. I had a great studio, but I've since moved into a larger unit in the same building. I've doubled the space and actually got an outdoor space to boot. So I'm happy to have you guys here, and let's chat a little bit. Before I even moved in, we had to tackle the bathroom and the kitchen. The bathroom is situated very lengthy. Like there was a tub right on top of a sink, right on top of the toilet. As much as I love tubs, I don't know if you remember my apartment upstairs, like I loved that tub, but I knew that I had to forego having a tub and just to create a more cohesive environment to get myself prepared in the morning. So we did a wider shower, giving a little bit more space to the sink area, giving the toilet a little bit of breathing room. When I walked into the kitchen, there wasn't enough storage, there wasn't enough counter space, no shelving whatsoever, and the refrigerator was hiding a window. So immediately we reconfigured the kitchen so that we can use the natural light from that very small window. And then on top of that, coming in later and adding additional details made that small kitchen very functional. Having lived in a studio apartment for much of the pandemic, I knew that in this space, I wanted to invite friends and family. I needed interaction. So everything in this space is designed to encourage that so that people can come over and feel comfortable, so that my family can stay weekends or weeks at a time. Although I have furniture upstairs, I had to accumulate some other items. And in thinking about how to arrange the space, I knew that those items needed to be fully functional. They needed to be able to move around from one area to the next. And as an added bonus, it would be great if they could also provide storage. So that was top priority for me. So this is my living room area, and when I walked into this room, immediately there's a door and another door, openings, windows. So the arrangement of this room needed to be very intentional. And since it's New York, like size is still always a factor. I ended up using breakfast banquettes as my sofas. This sectional here is just that. And what I love about it is that they also offer so much storage up underneath. There's toys and towels and all of the things in this space. This table here was a set of trays that I had just flipped them over, put them on a base, and voila, here's a table. Also, when I'm around the house, I like to keep things like right at arm's length. So having a box right here with my remote, my glasses, a pair of reading glasses also just makes everything a lot more cozy when you're sitting and watching TV and have your feet propped up with your footies on. Of course, I'm going nowhere without my grandma's lamp. I've restyled this in many places and I will do it forevermore. So in this New York apartment, there is not a lot of closet space. This happens to be one of them. And I used some of the fixings from my upstairs PAX unit and just retrofitted it into this closet. I don't want to show you too long because it looks a mess, but it houses like my hair color, my cleaning supplies. I don't know if you remember my nail shop, but yeah, all of that is in this closet here. Yeah, we're just gonna shut that. One of the things that I love about what I've collected over the years is that each piece has a story to me. This particular table, my mother and I were in Ohio at a TJ Maxx, and I'm like, oh, I want that table. So we put it in storage, and we see this lady rolling my table out. We were like, no, we got that table on hold. Trust me, that lady did not want to go up against my mother. But as you see, I have the table and I've styled it many different ways. This particular incarnation in this space has an addition of a little bit of texture up underneath, a glass top just so that you can put your drinks up with no problem. Surprisingly enough, there's like a little bit of thatching up underneath. and I have blankets stored up under there too. So I am one of those people who will I'll keep the things that I love forever, period. Like I am sentimental in that way. So one of the things that is always a challenge in New York is you never just have like a regular room. Odd sizes, odd shapes. I was able to use carpet tiles from floor to configure my own rug to ground the space in the exact size that I needed. When I walked into the apartment, my neighbor had left this little fireplace. It was just sitting in the middle of the floor, all dusty. It does not put out heat. However, I do love the little flames. So from there, I decided to paint the fireplace black just to give the room a bit of weight. This dresser here came as a pair for $95. This one and the one in my bedroom. Like I said, I was hounding Facebook Marketplace when I moved in this place because I needed to accumulate some other pieces. And when I saw the two of them for $95, I was like, you absolutely can't beat that. I am on my way. I will search your face off in the I will search your face off every morning. I love that. Like, I love the research of it. You know, I love the burlwood chest or the brass sconce rubber plant. So this mirror is also a Facebook Marketplace find. One of those situations where you go to a storage unit and pick it up right then and there. And this chair is from a client that I worked with. It's called Sit On It. I did some staging for their showroom, and this was one of the toss-aways, and it just looks great here. So in this area here, this is the lounge area where this room sitting in the center was very small, no windows. And I knew that I wanted it to be a gathering space of sorts. I can put 3 people here, 2 on the sides, and with 2 additional chairs, we've got like the perfect Friendsgiving, the perfect Sunday brunch. My landlord had this table in the basement and I took it apart. I put it on a swivel base so that it would be easier to shimmy into this banquette area. I haven't found a locking mechanism, but we haven't had any problems either. The banquettes are filled with storage. There are, in this particular banquette, I have like light bulbs and tools and all of those little hardware type gadgets. My business partner and I created these banquette covers, interchangeable. They can change with the season. Now the biggest DIY project in this space to date for me was this mirror wall. I love how the mirrors open up the space and it kind of gives it that bistro vibe of sorts. When I was pricing antiqued mirror, the estimate that I got was like $5,700. And I know as a renter, that was not in the budget for me, but it was the perfect opportunity to get my hands dirty. And I'm very grateful that they turned out as well as they did. And I say that just on the heels of working with contractors who said they knew what to do, but didn't know what they were doing. And like the first set of mirrors were literally sliding down the walls. The mirrors are from IKEA. To antique a mirror, you take the backing off of it and spray it with an acid or some type of bleach. And then you go in with whatever color you want to shine through to the front. And mind you, doing all of this in a small space where it was a little bit too cold to go outside and do it. So here I was in this room on the floor doing these mirrors and it like living around it. It was a lot, but I'm so grateful. Like I love the way that the mirrors look, but I really love the story behind it and what it taught me. Never again will I second guess what I know in my heart that I know. I'm a huge fan of gold contact paper. I used it upstairs in my kitchen, and again, I've used it in this space, but this time it's over a PAX unit that is being used as a bar. So the top area, of course, is for entertaining, but the bottom is fully functional, and it's where I keep belts and sweaters and extra bags, all in this area here. So the smallest room in the apartment was perfect for a bedroom. Like, there's not much else in here but the bed, and honestly, that's all it needed to be. I was sleeping in a twin size Murphy bed upstairs, so having a small room was a big win. A small room that I could shut the door, even better. When I moved into the space, there were these two closets, two of three closets in the entire apartment. Immediately, I knew that the doors needed to come off of the closets so that it wouldn't eat up much of the traffic space. So I replaced that with these little curtains. As you know, I am a sucker for storage, so this IKEA mom bed was the perfect addition to this room. It's funny the things that you learn along the journey. I was upholstering this bed. I've never upholstered a bed before, but I'm like, how hard could it be? As I got into the thick of it, I realized that it was hard to hold it and to upholster at the same time. Now, of course, I had friends who were like, hey, I can come over and help you. My first inclination was like, no, I got it, it's okay. After it was all said and done and my elbows and legs were scratched up, I realized that it's okay to ask for help. In the course of this apartment and building a home, I'm also learning quite a bit about myself. So of course, the focal point of this room is the headboard. I got this from a company in Mexico called Casimity. I had the same headboard in silver at one point, and I sold it on Facebook Marketplace because after I purchased it over a decade ago, they came out with these other colorways, and I really loved the antique gold, and I thought it would be more befitting of the space and the person that I've grown to be at this point. So this room has a bunch of different functions. It is my spare bedroom, it is my workout room, it is my office. One thing about this particular room, even though it has windows, it was always a dark room. So I just decided to embrace that and paint the walls black in here. I'm happy that I was able to bring the sleeper sofa from upstairs down. So when guests are here, they're comfortable. Originally, when I moved into the space, I had the sofa on the TV wall, and I found myself constantly looking out to the trash cans. So I knew that I had to do a swap for sure. And of course, I'm doing a few workouts here, and then over in this area, I have all of my hand weights stored in baskets. So once again, the sneakiest of storage, behind the sofa table, I have an entire trampoline. When I said that this is my workout room, it definitely is my workout room. There's a couple more weights, humidifier, all back tucked away where you'll never see them. This room had a bunch of weird angles that I needed to address. So I had just some custom boards cut and painted them black to give a bit of a focal point for my desk. As a makeup artist, it's no surprise that in my home, you'll see a celebration of skin. So this particular photo was taken, I took it myself with a cell phone and just had it printed up. And what I love about it is it brings in the warmth of skin and hair and texture and bridges the gap between my design work and also what I do for a living. I love the history of these old brownstones and that the original built-in is still in place here. So I honor that with history of my family. So you'll find photo albums with pictures of my grandma and her mother's mother, all in my photo albums here. There's always a sentimental element in everything that I do. So people that I love are represented in many different ways that might not be obvious, but this is definitely one of the more obvious pieces. So this room sees quite a bit of action in so many different ways. So here we are in my entryway, and right away on the floor you'll see these beautiful carpet tiles from Floor. On the wall here you'll find IKEA storage for glasses and my hats and gloves. Once again, here's an iPhone picture blown up. A company called Mix Tiles. If you send in photos, they will print up some of your Instagram photos or whatever, and this particular art is one of those situations. When I walk in the house, first things first, I love to kick off my shoes. This little brass settee is from Facebook Marketplace, and I just recovered the seat, but it makes a great staging area for bags and shoes and hats, gloves, scarves, like just to sit down, get yourself sorted before entering the rest of the space. So this is the bathroom, and right away the mosaic stone in the shower reminded me of the outdoors. I'd read that people were having problems cleaning mosaic stone, but I didn't let that deter me. That stone is the color palette for the entire apartment. So I'm happy that I went for it. After that, I brought in a bit of the blacks that are used throughout the house. Instead of using a builder grade cabinet, I opted for a piece of wood, made a cutout for the toilet. It gave the bathroom a lot more personality for less money. So the kitchen is right off of the garden, and I knew that I wanted the two areas to feel cohesive. So I made some intentional choices with flooring to mimic the concrete outdoors. So I literally just cut a piece of the fencing that I used outdoors and put it up as a valance. Also, this particular console piece definitely feels like it should be outdoors with its organic qualities. This is where I sit in the morning, but this cute little stool also has a bit of storage. The major focal point of this kitchen is a design that I'm very proud of. I knew right away when I walked into this space that I wanted marble, but as a renter, I didn't want to pay for marble countertops. Instead, I decided that I would mimic marble but on the cabinets themselves. This particular design was created to have the feeling of Copacabana stone. In producing this paper, I found some images of Copacabana stone, and I just had like little small cutouts, and I literally sent them to a worker on Fiverr and had them blow them up, and this is what it came out to be. I decided to hang each piece lengthwise to elevate the low ceilings. Like all of the ceilings in the space are very low, but with the pattern running vertically as such, it lifts up your eyes and gives you a bit more headroom in this space. One of the things that I used in a non-traditional way is the medicine cabinets from IKEA. I use them as a coffee and tea station, and on the bottom, another one of those medicine cabinets is used to store canned goods. I found a couple of French doors on Facebook Marketplace and created this behind the door storage. So clearly I'm not a carpenter, so I wanted to make this process as easy as possible. So I had boards cut at a box store. What I did was mount the shelves to the wall. This is the wall right here, and then put an outside frame and attach the door with non-mortising hinges. After that, I just stained the board to match the French doors, and it looks like it's a built-in, but it's really not, and it's very easy to take apart as a renter because it's really just shelving. The outdoor space feels very much like the indoor space. The two are aligned. So outdoor, there's a living area, basically an outdoor living room. There's storage that houses plenty of candles and all of the things that you want, bug spray, all of the things that you want to have when you're outside to make life convenient outdoors. The addition of a picnic table so that many friends and family can gather in one space was very important to me. A lot of the details outside feel like what you'd find indoors, and that's what makes the entirety of this space feel so homey and cozy and relaxing for me and everyone that I'm able to invite to share my home. A lot of the growth that I experienced from just moving a couple floors down in the studio apartment, it was really just about healing myself. The thing that I'm embracing in this new space is allowing people into my life, into my heart, into my home, and being more intentional about it. So this apartment is really about taking ownership. Ownership of who I am, what I am, and showing up as authentically as possible and not playing small, and inviting people in. I think that for so long, I've been self-sufficient. I was in that relationship. We had a breakup and I had to start over. That's something that I'm used to, making hard decisions and just powering through. So in that space, that's what I did. But I'm not powering through right now. Like, I'm trying to live, I'm trying to enjoy. So that for me is what this space is about. It's enjoying friends, it's enjoying family, it's enjoying life, it's enjoying beauty, it's being surrounded by the things that I love to do that are an expression of who I am as a person. This space is about loving me and all that encompasses.